lap.
Event, the 100-miler here at the fairgrounds. Fans, are you ready? The field's rolling out. Jeff Trombley, Brett Hearn, Jack Johnson, Billy Decker will set the field. We're just moments away from a 100-lap, 100-mile championship on Labor Day here at Syracuse. Everybody looking for first place money, but there is an extra added bonus for the Cathy's Bottom Line Hard Charger. A special Hard Charger award being presented to the driver who passes the most cars in the Miller Lite 100. This $500 cash Hard Charger award being presented by Cathy's Bottom Line, 234 Wolf Street in Syracuse. Now open Sundays from 7 in the evening until 2 in the morning. Never a cover at Cathy's. Brett Hearn having problems here down the front straightaway. I know he's your favorite. I can understand that. Yes, I do, fans. Seth Gano also not firing. Brian Weaver, Dave Cattleman going around. Paul Small making his way back up here to the tower. Brett Hearn and the Bud number 3 sits here, stalled at the bottom of the pit road. Push truck moves in behind. And Hearn's underway. He fired up. $100 miles. Pit strategy is going to be a key. Keith Champine, our pit side announcer, will be bringing up some words of what's going on down there and some of the strategies being considered by the various teams. Fans, because the push truck had to push him, Brett Hearn starts scratch. Brett Hearn goes to the rear.
All I can say is, wow.
Wow, no doubt about it. Add drama before the flag is even thrown. Talk of drama, Brett Hearn starting scratch, and I thought it was going to be interesting seeing Eddie Marshall and Jack Cottrell come up from the back of the field. So that puts Billy Decker outside the front row. Another fan favorite, I can tell.
All right.
Hey, fans, you guys are great. You're great fans today. You're really into this show. It's super to work it. Thank you.
I tell you what, I want to see how into it everybody is. When we come down off turn number 4, I want this entire grandstand on its feet, waving like a bunch of maniacs. All right, here we go. Here comes the field off turn number 4. Come on, you're still sitting on your seats. Get up off your butts and give them a wave as they come by. Come on, you can do it. We'll give you a little wave music. Come on, let's rock the house. All right, nice job, everybody. Nice job.
Let the fun begin. It's 100 miles of racing action here at Syracuse for the Miller Lite 100 Championship. Jeff Trombley, Billy Decker on the front row as they'll set the pace to the green flag.
And what a show we are going to have here. We got to watch Brett the Jet come from the back. We got to watch the guys in the front. We got to watch the guys in the middle. Heck, I don't have enough eyes to watch everything at the same time.
Then we're going to have to watch all the guys in the pits because there's going to be pit stops galore in this one. And first break in action, we'll go to Keith in the pits to find out what the heck is going on down there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The caution lights are out, the pace truck is in. Let's get ready to rumble! We've got a green flag, and the Miller Lite Labor Day 100 is underway.
And Jeff Tremblay takes a point at the outset, followed by Jack Johnson and Billy Decker. They'll string it out. Whoa, hang on, we got a car way up high. Eddie Marshall up in the first turn.
They head down the backstretch. Trombley, the early race leader. Jack Johnson in the number 2 spot. Decker is third. Looks like the number 4 position right now. Hard to tell from this vantage point. So they work their way up in through turns 3 and 4. Looks like maybe Von Doren inching his way up there a little bit. And Ron Smoker is back there in that number 4 spot behind the Decker, number 91.
Smoker back there in number 4 position. Running back in number 5 is Richie Urick. 6 is Dave Camara. 7 is Jimmy Horton. The battle for 8th place as Jamie Mills goes around Dave Blaney.
Field starting to thin out a little bit into single file formation. Brett Hearn scrambling up on the outside lane in turn number 1. Gets around the 36 of Loreno. There's a little contact there. Saw a puff of smoke, another puff. A little wisp of smoke or fluid coming out of the back of Hearn's car.
Out front, though, it's Trombley with the early lead. A 6-car length advantage over second place Jack Johnson. 6-car lengths ahead of Billy Decker.
They come down off turn number 4, and it's still Trombley setting the pace over Johnson. Decker is third. 4th is Smoker. York coming by in 5th. 6th is Camara. 7th is Horton. 8th is Mills. 9th is Blaney. And Von Doren rounds out the top 10.
Brett Hearn's passed 9 cars in the first couple of laps as the number 3 starts to work his way up through the field.
Dave Blaney up on the outside. The Buckeye Bullet tries to make a move on Jamie Mills. Has to back out of it as they work into turn number 3. He'll fall back in line in the number 9 position. Meanwhile, the gap between first and second is narrowing. Matt Quinn a little loose up in turns 3 and 4. Almost got the outside wall.
Keep your eye on the 21 of Blaney as he works on the back end of the Mills car here in the front straightaway. Out front is still Trombley, but Jack Johnson trying to close in down the long back straightaway.
They head down the backstretch. Dave Camara now trying to make a move on the 10 of Rich York. That's a battle for the 5th and 6th positions as they work up towards turn number 3. About 2 car lengths separate leader Jeff Trombley from second place Jack Johnson. Camara starting to reel in York a little bit as they work their way down off turn 4.
Brett Hearn goes 3 wide down the back straightaway, picks up 2 spots. But up front is Trombley now feeling the heat from Jack Johnson.
They work back through turns 1 and 2. Trombley and Johnson still 1 and 2. Decker starting to close the gap on them a little bit. Everybody thinning in right now. Hearn grabs another spot as they work off turns 1 and 2. Just got by the 2 of Bucky Kell. That moves Hearn up into position number 17.
Brett Hearn trying to move up through the field in rapid fashion. Up front, Jack Johnson trying to reel in the back end of the Trombley car. Johnson now applying some heat as we're working on lap number 5.
100 laps the distance here. Clean and green here in the early going. Dave Camara again closing up behind the 10 of Rich York as they work into turns 1 and 2. Camara looking to move up a position on York. A little bit further back. Hearn still trying to move up 1 car sideways towards the back of the field. It's Marshall and lineman in the USA 1 getting sideways. Roger Loreno moves around him.
Out front it's still Jeff Trombley with some breathing room between himself and Jack Johnson. Billy Decker just hanging around. Patience is going to have to be a key early in this race. No one wants to go all out in the early going.
Back towards turn number 1, 6 of 100 laps complete. Trombley holding off Jack Johnson. Then it's Decker a little distance back. And there goes Jamie Mills. Mills slipping by as Blaney was looking for some room to race going up towards turns 1 and 2. Hearn, oh, look at that aggressive move on Frank Cozy. Cozy slides wide going into turn number 1. Marshall, meanwhile, towards the back of the field, improves his position as he gets by the 31 of Jim Weller.
Lap times around 32 seconds. Low 32s, 32.1. Best lap so far for Jeff Trombley, the leader.
Back into turn number 1. Jack Johnson pokes a look at the inside in turns 1 and 2, backs out of it and lets Trombley get a couple of car lengths on him as they work back through the corners. Blaney hooking up once again, trying to get to the back end of the Jamie Mills number 30. They continue to battle for position a little bit further back. Leader is Trombley, Johnson second, Decker third, Smoker fourth, York fifth, followed by Camara, Horton, Mills, Blaney, and Craig Von Doren rounding out the top 10.
Brett Hearn back in the number 16 position here as we're working on lap number 8.
Back up into turn number 1. Your leader's coming up on the first slower traffic of the day. Jeff Trombley checks up in turn number 1. Here comes Jack Johnson. Johnson slides underneath Trombley in turn 2.
Here comes Billy Decker now rolling in on the back end of the 21J down the back straightaway. It's Jack Johnson with the lead. Trombley second, Decker in third. Distant fourth is Ronnie Smoker, followed by Richie Urich and Dave Camara and Jimmy Horton.
Lap traffic coming into play. Jeff Trombley came up on Calumet in between the corners. Didn't want to risk going to the outside. Slipped up just enough for Jack Johnson to slip underneath. Now Billy Decker will put some pressure on Trombley for the number 2 spot.
Field starting to string out. Everyone getting into a rhythm, trying to move it nice and easy here in the early going. Billy Decker now trying to pick up that number 2 spot as he works on the back of Jeff Trombley.
Brett Hearn up to the number 15 position in the field. Watching the battle for second, approaching turn number 3. Billy Decker within a car length of Jeff Trombley. Jack Johnson about 6 car lengths in front of them. Second leader in this Miller Lite Labor Day 100 as they crank down off turn number 4. Now the slower traffic may come into play here. David Calumet has Dave Camara right behind him. Camara drifts to the outside. Jimmy Horton right there. Horton trying to close in, maybe make an inside move going into turn 1. Not able to do it.
And Jimmy Mills trying to close in along with Dave Blaney back for that same position. Out front now, Jack Johnson with some breathing room, but it's still the early going of this 100-lap event.
1/10 of the way through. So far, Jack Johnson, Jeff Trombley, Billy Decker all kind of running their own show up there at the front of the field. Ronnie Smoker sitting solidly in the number 4 position, kind of riding his own race right now. Urich in 5th, Camara in 6th, was challenging him a little while ago. Falls back now, maybe a battle for position here off turn number 4. Jeff Hoffman swinging to the outside, Matt Quinn to the inside of the machine at Calumet, and Matt Quinn can't get down on the inside. Was trying to sneak attack Jeff Hoffman and ran out of room.
Billy Decker now working all over the 21J as they go into the third turn. A good battle for that number 2 position. At the north end of the speedway, Ron Smoker trying to pick up the pace bit by bit, trying to close in on second and third.
Some more lap traffic maybe in the future for the leaders as they continue to pull away from the rest of the field. Dave Camara chases Rich Urich up into turns 1 and 2. Checking on Brett Hearn's progress. Hearn still in the number 15 position. He's working on Bud Chrisman for 14th. Squeeze play going into turn number 1. Hearn down on the wet stuff on the inside. Makes the move.
Brett Hearn sure makes it exciting, no doubt about it, as we've got a leader, Jack Johnson, turning around 32.3. His best lap so far has been 31.956.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. First caution flag of the event coming out.
Looks like Quinn up against the outside wall over there in the third turn area. Dave Calumet limping down on the cinder track as he'll bring the car to a halt in front of his pit crew, or he'll make the hard left in the back, and he comes down to his pit crew instead. Looks like Quinn up on the outside. That's our, if we can tell from our vantage point. We don't know if there's anybody else out there. Quinn's fired back up, and he's rolling. Dave Calumet brings the 13Z to the pits.
Up in turn number 2, race leader Jack Johnson working his way around under the caution flag. 14 laps are complete. The 21J of Trombley in the number 2 spot.
Quinn limps down and turns into the Overball Motorsports hauler as he'll park. Looks like he might park the number 20 for the afternoon. Nose first is his trailer crew coming to assist, but again, smoke coming out from under the hood of the number 20.
And Jeff Hoffman with a problem. Hoffman, who was running in the top 15, just shredded a left rear tire off of his car.
Jeff Hetzler now down here, make a pit stop.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go down into the pit area where Keith Champagne is standing by Jeff Hetzler's car, and it looks like the race leader, Jack Johnson, is coming in for a pit stop.
Thank you, Paul. Jack Johnson coming in the pits. A lot of guys coming in. I was talking to some crews earlier. They said if they get a caution around lap 14 or 15, they're going to take the chance to come in. Here's Johnson. Trombley's coming in. Billy Decker, lots of big names. Dave Camara's in. Craig Van Doren. They're all coming in. Johnson takes a fuel and go. He gets stuck behind Camara. Decker's out. Johnson goes first. Decker follows. Camara's still in, getting some fuel. Doesn't look like they're going to do any tire adjustments. The 10 car's out. Here comes Trombley on. Trombley loses a couple of positions, still gets out. Everything's clean and green down here. Down to the middle end of the pits, we got some more cars coming out. Here comes Jack Cottrell picking up a couple of positions out of the pits. Jamie Mills goes by on the front straightaway. But as I said, I was talking to a lot of crews. They said they wanted to come in around lap 14 or 15, get it over with, and get some track position for later in the race. That's exactly what they did. Back to you, Paul.
All right, thanks very much, Keith. And Jeff Trombley losing positions there as he got pinned in behind Steve Batra on pit road, Bill.
Yes, and looked like Jack Johnson might have got a piece of Dave Camara, too, as they were parked in a tight situation down here on pit road. Again, the pit roads at tracks like this aren't clearly marked, so guys do tend to get stacked up in the pits, and when they all pit together, sometimes you get pinned in behind somebody, and such was the case there. So here's the lineup that we'll give to you as they come down to the start-finish line. Leader, it looks like it's Jimmy Horton in the 74. Second is Jamie Mills in the 30, followed by Dave Blaney. Brett Hearn up in the 4th.
Now, talk about track position. That's what it's all about. Hearn stayed out to take advantage of the track position. He advanced from 30th to 15th in the first segment of this race. That's pretty amazing stuff. And now he bounces up to the number 4 spot with all the pit stops. Now, the first car out of the pits, was Jack Johnson, then Billy Decker was second out. Rich Urich had a good pit stop. He picked up about 4 or 5 positions coming out of the pits.
He sure did. He went in the pits. He was down the line. He came up back, and right now it looks like he's a long way back. But you remember the cars in front of him, a lot of them have not stopped. So they're eventually going to make that pit stop.
Pace
Jimmy
truck.
Horton with the lead here at Syracuse with 16 laps down.
Pace truck is off the racetrack in the back stretch, so we'll be ready to go green as they work their way around through turns 3 and 4. Jimmy Horton setting the pace. Jamie Mills. Then it's the Buckeye Bullet Dave Blaney and the Corporate Jet Brett Hearn sitting in the number 4 spot. Here comes Horton off turn number 4. Green lights are back underway, and immediately Blaney and Hearn go 3 wide down the front stretch. Hearn to the number 2 spot.
From 4th to 2nd down the front straightaway, Brett Hearn up in the number 2 position. Dave Blaney back in number 3. Jamie Mills in 4th. Bud Chrisman rounds out the top 5.
I tell you what, Jamie Mills right now is saying, what the heck just happened out here? He got passed high and low on the restart. Jack Johnson trying to pick off a spot. Billy Decker goes by the 9R. Brian the Dreamweaver. Johnson, meanwhile, moves by the 917 of Billy Tanner.
Watch the action in the middle of the field for guys like Johnson, Decker, Gibbs, all those guys moving up. Camara, all picking off cars down the back straightaway through the north end of the speedway.
Jimmy Horton becoming the 3rd different leader in the Miller Lite Labor Day 100 as he works his way off turn number 2. Brett Hearn about 7 car lengths back now, down to 5 car lengths back in the number 2 position. Heavy traffic a little further back in the field off turn number 2. A little bumper tag between Seth Gano and the 9R Brian Weaver, and Dave Camara is right there trying to pass Gano on the outside.
Field tightly bunched in the midway through as everyone looking for room to run after coming out of their pit stops. It's Horton, Hearn, Blaney, 1, 2, and 3, followed by Mills and the 18 of Chrisman.
A little further back is the 2K of Gibbs, followed by the 33 of Moore, the 98 of Eddie Marshall, and then Jack Johnson in the number 20, followed by Weller in the 31, and then the number 91 of Decker.
Looks like Horton just running a very steady, consistent groove right now. Doesn't have to do too much, doesn't have to be too aggressive. Hearn settling down in that number 2 position. We're only working on lap number 19, now up to number 20, as we're just in the early stages of this one. We've got a long, long, long way to go.
Heading down the backstretch, Horton maintaining the lead. Watch the action a little bit further back in the field. Jeff Hetzler's car sitting over Hearn on the right rear corner as he heads up into turns 1 and 2. He is at the back of the field. Remember, Hetzler waited on pit road and made a pit stop a little while ago. Meanwhile, coming down through turn number 4, race leader still Jimmy Horton, and Horton running very comfortably up the front of the field.
Taking a look at 6 through 10 as they bring it around on lap number 21. Mitch Gibbs in 6th, followed by Chris Moore, Eddie Marshall, Jack Johnson, and Billy Decker. Johnson and Decker now running 9th and 10th.
Back down the backstretch, the margin between Dave Blaney and Brett Hearn on the increase a little bit. Looking a little bit further back at the field as some of the other drivers trying to advance. Dave Camara and Craig Von Dorn are bottled in behind Brian Weaver in the 917 of Bill Tanner. Jeff Trombley, your pole sitter, also back there working on the Seth Gano number 57. That's a pretty big pack of cars working their way through turns 3 and 4. Right now, Camara is 15th, Von Dorn 16th, Trombley 18th.
And the top 10 sort of running on their own racetrack right now as they've all settled into position. The guys behind them are the ones doing the Dyson here in the approach the quarter point of this event.
Headed down through turns 3 and 4. It's still Jimmy Horton setting sail at the front of the field. Looks like he's very comfortable with that Smith Brothers number 74 right now as he comes by into turns 1 and 2. His lead over Brett Hearn is about somewhere near 7/10 of a second as they work on to the turns 1 and 2 end of the speedway. Craig Von Dorn has gotten by David Camara and by Brian Weaver. Here comes Camara looking to get by Weaver on the inside lane as Von Dorn looks to the inside of Bill Tanner going into turn 1.
Good battle between Tanner and Von Dorn as they go bumper to bumper out of the second turn. Camara just sitting back waiting for something to happen or hoping something doesn't happen in front of him as those two dice for position.
They work into turn number 3. Von Dorn may want to wait until the front straightaway to try to make his move. He lines it up now coming down off turn number 4. Seth Gano drifted wide, cuts down right in front of Jeff Trombley. Von Dorn could not get the inside lane run on Tanner coming off of 4. He'll try going into 1 instead, and he makes the move up into turns 1 and 2. That would put Von Dorn up into the 13th spot.
Von Dorn with a good solid run here, but another surprise is the 18 of Chrisman, who's trying to close in on the car, that fourth place car, as they come off the fourth turn and down the front straightaway. Jamie Mills running back there in fourth, and Chrisman trying to close in.
1/4 of the way through the Miller Lite Labor Day 100. Jimmy Horton leading since lap number 18, increasing his lead. Oh, trouble up in turns 3 and 4 for the Bill Tanner number 917. Tanner may have a tire going down on the number 917 machine. He was way out of line coming off of turn 4, and looks like that right rear is a little soft.
Right rear looks like it's going on the 914. We'll see which way he heads and down that back straightaway if he tries to come all the way around and come in off the fourth turn. But up front, your leader still remains the 74 of Jimmy Horton.
Watching the back of the pack working their way through the second and third turns now. Here comes race leader Horton midway down the backstretch. So Horton's going to start hitting some lap traffic if we stay clean and green here before too long. But the thing you've got to remember is if we have a lot of long green flag laps, the top 3 cars on the racetrack, your big leaders right now, have yet to make a pit stop in this 100-lap affair.
Coming up on heavy traffic within the next couple of laps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in front of Horton and Hearn and Blaney. There'll be a traffic jam momentarily if a yellow flag doesn't come out.
Working down towards turns 3 and 4. The race leader starting to come up on some traffic now behind a big pack of cars as they swing the fourth turn. Headed down the front stretch. Horton coming into it now as they enter towards turns 1 and 2.
Horton picking his way past one of the cars. There's still 6 more ahead of him, and he's going to have to get past. And they're all racing for position down that back straightaway, so keep an eye on them. Can Hearn make it up here? Can Blaney make it up? Trouble on the back straightaway.
And Jeff Hoffman gets into it. Oh my goodness, and Hearn, and I don't know how Horton and Blaney got by it, but inside out on the backstretch is the 00 of Jeff Hoffman. That's going to bring out a yellow here on lap number 28.
We thought there'd be some excitement when they got to traffic. We were hoping it wasn't going to be like that, but that could have been a lot worse. Horton limping down the front straightaway. I think he's just waiting for the push truck or the pace truck. Hoffman in the back straightaway in 00. He's up on the inside track. Now he's backing off. Car was up, got some airtime there, Paul. He was hanging up there.
Yeah, and that whole incident started when the number 10 or the number 917 of Tanner exploded a right rear tire about midway down the backstretch. He checked up, slowed down, and a lot of the guys had nowhere to go. I don't know how Horton, Hearn, and those guys made it through. Jeff Hoffman didn't.
Well, guys have to drive more than just to their front bumper, so apparently those guys saw what was developing. They knew Tanner was a slowing car. He had slowed down a couple of laps ago. I thought he was going to head for the pits, and he didn't. And suddenly in the back straightaway, that right rear tire exploding And then all heck breaking loose, or nearly breaking loose in the back straightaway, as the leaders had some scary moments there in the middle of the backstretch.
Well, the pits are open. We'll see if anybody ducks down onto pit road here. Looks like Jimmy Horton about to make a pit stop, and he indeed is. And it looks like Brett Hearn is going to stay on the racetrack. Let's go to Keith Jumpin down on pit road. Keith?
Okay, thanks, Paul. I was just down talking to Jimmy Horton's pit crew. They said they were coming in next caution around lap 25. Couple of laps late, but they're still okay on lap 29. Horton comes to a stop in the Smith Brothers Concrete Foundation 74, changing the right rear tire. Full load of fuel going on. I'm sure Mitch Gibbs is down in the pits as well in the number 2 car. The tire goes off Horton's car, comes back on. Everything's okay so far, still filling up the fuel tank. Horton sits patiently in the car waiting to get back out. He was one of the only leaders that didn't go in the pits on that first caution. Chooses to come in here, and he's off and away. A clean and green pit stop. Mitch Gibbs will follow into turns number 1 and 2. Back to you, Paul.
All right, thanks very much, Keith. And I don't know about Jimmy Horton's timing of that pit stop. The white flag was in the air. Horton on pit road has lost a lot of track position because the leaders are headed up towards turns 3 and 4, about to go green. Horton, just entering the backstretch, has got to get on the gas to catch the back of the field.
Well, I would think there'll be another yellow before this is over, Paul.
Well, one would hope so, but you never know. A lot of other cars coming on to pit road, barely staying on the lead lap. Brett Hearn, your new leader now, as the green flag flies as we come down to complete lap 31.
Here they come, 3 wide. Jack Johnson low down the front straightaway. Oh, they shut the door on him. Look like Jamie Mills, as Mills settles down to number 3 position.
They head down the backstretch. A couple of car lengths between Brett Hearn and Dave Blaney. Then it's Mills in the number 3 spot, Johnson in 4th. And then I think you got to go back to the Billy Decker machine, running back there in the 5th position as they run their way up through turns 3 and 4.
Ron Smoker looks like he's back in 6th. Richie Urich in 7th. And Dave Camara back in the number 8 position.
Brett Hearn staying out onto the racetrack as we complete lap number 32. It's Blaney, Mills, Decker, Jim Weller, Von Doren, all moving up here through turns 1 and 2. Now looks like Weller falling back on the line. So Von Doren is 5th, Urich 6th, Camara 7th, Trombley 8th, Weller down to 9th, Botcher is 10th.
Right in the back of the field, there's 6 cars all in the group going in the first turn 2 wide, which is a little bit shaky here sometimes at Syracuse. You don't want to take too many chances like that. Coming off a 4 down the front straight away, and Seth Gano's having problems. Looks like Hoffman's still having some difficulty at the back of the field, but Brett Hearn has the lead over Dave Blaney.
And here comes Craig Von Doren motoring down to the inside of Bob Lineman. Oh, Richie Urich has to check up as they head up into turns 1 and 2. He wanted to follow Von Doren through, was not able to do it. Meanwhile, leader Hearn rolling down the backstretch. Mitch Gibbs coming up through the field here. Now, of all the race leaders that pitted on the first round of pit stops, we saw a lot of gas and go, but correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, I think Horton may have been the first of the leaders we've seen actually change a tire.
I think you're right, Paul. Seth Gano, a lot of smoke coming out from underneath the 57, and the leaders will be coming up on him momentarily, so keep an eye on Gano's 57. As I said, a lot of smoke down the front straightaway on that car.
A little further back, continuing to watch that Jam Fest behind the lap car of Bob Lineman. That Jam Fest is between Urich in the 10, Camara in the 26, Jeff Trombley in the 21J coming up through the field nicely back up to the number 9 position. He made his pit stop earlier. Through turn number 2 up, Jack Cottrell a little off the pace slide sideways. Frank Cozy closing up, trying to make a move on him. Meanwhile, Ron Smoker back there along with the 74 of Horton. They're all trying hard to get up towards the front of the field again.
Top 3 cars, 4 cars have broken away. 5th is Billy Decker. A good battle for that number 6 spot down the front straightaway between Von Doren, Lindemann, Urich, and Camara.
Steve Botcher, the number 35, grabbing a position. He now cracks the top 10 for the first time this afternoon as he gets by the 31 of Jim Weller as they work off turn 2.
Billy Decker back there, number 5 spot, really all by himself. Jack Johnson right in front of him. He's all alone back in the number 4 position.
I tell you what, it's going to get a little tight for race leader Brett Hearn as he's coming up on some traffic, and he's got Dave Blaney only a couple of car lengths away from him as they pack up through turns 1 and 2. 36 laps complete as we get near the halfway point, or at least approaching it here in tonight's Miller Lite Labor Day 100 leaders. Now closing in on the Hoffman car in turn 3.
Dave Blaney starting to reel in your leader over there in the 3rd turn as we've got traffic in front of the pace setters coming out of the 4th turn. Blaney trying to move in behind the corporate jet of Brett Hearn.
They come down the front stretch. Hearn goes to the outside of the 00 of Jeff Hoffman, clearing his car, going into one. Dave Blaney going to squeak and tiptoe on the outside of Jeff Hoffman, trying to maintain contact with the race leader. That was a very astute move by Blaney. It puts him one car length off Hearn, going down the backstretch.
Hearn goes to the outside of Gano down the backstretch, and Blaney will get by him also as they go into 3.
Coming down off turn number 4, here comes Brett Hearn again with about 2 car lengths on the Buckeye Bullet. Dave Blaney, they are your race leaders with 38 of 100 laps complete. Back in the 3rd spot is Jamie Mills. He's trying to stay with them now, and we've got a little trouble, I believe. I thought there was a problem there for a second up there in turn number 2, but looks like Seth Gatto able to clear through there. Looks like the car got a little sideways on him.
Jeff Trombley back in the top 10. We've got battle in the middle of that straightaway. Brian Weaver having trouble.
Brian the Dream Weaver.
On the backstretch on the cinder track. Brian Weaver's pulled up off the racetrack.
Passing flag coming out now for Eddie Marshall and for the Bill Tanner 917. Hearn caught up behind Tanner in turn number 1. This might be the break that Blaney was looking for. Here comes the Buckeye Bullet, closing right up on the back end of Hearn as they come off turn 2.
He's looking low down the back straightaway. Hearn's going high. Thought they were going to make a sandwich of Tanner down the back straightaway, but Blaney thought a little bit better about it and decided to go to the outside also.
They work in between turns 3 and 4. Still a couple of car lengths in between Brett Hearn and Dave Blaney as Hearn holds off an attempted challenge by Blaney. Blaney's hoping that he can time it so that if Hearn is behind the lap car going into the corner, he could be ahead of him coming out. Oh, Bentley Mead a little sideways up in 1 and 2. Getting on off the cushion on the second corner. He got a little bit wide after Eddie Marshall got around him, and here comes Hearn trying to pass him on the outside.
Brett Hearn jetting down the back straightaway as he soars around the Mead car. Right behind him, we've got Blaney still trying to move in. Jamie Mills resting comfortably in 3rd. And Jack Johnson trying to close. We've got a car up against the wall down here at the north end of the speedway. Coming right back off of it. No contact made. Could be a flat tire for this car coming off the 4th turn down the front straightaway, Paul.
That's Seth Gano continuing to have his problems with the A. Gabriel number 57 machine. Has been showing smoke on and off. Now it looks like the handle may be going away on the Gano machine. Meanwhile, race leaders up into turn number 3. Jamie Mills clearing the 917 of Tanner, who is slowing a little bit on the backstretch. A little bit further back in the next position would be Decker. Then you're looking back to Von Dorn and Urich and Camara. Trombley, Bontra in the 35, Weller in the 31, all holding positions on the lead lap right now.
Jack Johnson started to close in on the Jamie Mills number 30 back in the back straightaway, but now Mills gets himself a little more breathing room in 2 lap cars between himself and 4th place, Jack Johnson.
Looking and checking the progress of Jimmy Horton and the number 74 machine. Horton up to the number 16 position in the field right now. He is picking them off one by one as he tries to work his way back up to the front of the field. The problem is he is right now a full half track behind the race leaders.
Jeff Trombley up in the number 9 position. Your pole sitter pitting early, coming back up from the back of the field now, resting in 9th.
Slow off turn number 4. It looks like Bentley Mead in the number 22 as Jeff Hoffman goes to the outside. Here comes Jack Johnson trying to get around him going into turn number 1. Nice move by Jack, clearing around to the outside. 43 of 100 laps are complete.
Middle of the field is where they're jockeying for position as the top 5 or 6 cars are pretty well comfortably in their respective positions here as we work on lap number 44.
Here's Dave Blaney again closing in on Hearn. Now remember, Hearn and Blaney have yet to make pit stops. Jamie Mills back in the 3rd position in the number 30, working up towards turns 1 and 2. He has yet to pit. Jack Johnson in the 4th spot right now in the number 20. He has made a pit stop already. Probably has enough fuel to go the distance at this point.
And Billy Decker in 5th is also pitted. He pitted early in the race. Waiting to come up on lap traffic again. That's what seems to make it interesting as Brett Hearn and Dave Blaney have a straightaway lead over 3rd place Jamie Mills. But traffic will be coming up momentarily for the leaders.
Back through turn number 2, coming up on the Eddie Marshall number 98 are your race leaders. Jam Fest here off turn number 4. Billy Decker trying to get around Bentley Mead. And Craig Von Doren trying to work the traffic as well. Look at Von Doren sneaking down to the inside. Tanner was thinking about dropping down, and instead is forced out wide. That's going to allow Richie Urich to go through in turn number 2. And now Dave Camara tries to get through, but the door shut. Camara had to check up, and he'll now have to try to build up momentum and get Tanner down the backstretch.
Well, Hearn and Blaney have come up on 3 slower cars, so let's see what develops here as they come off the second turn down the back straightaway. Blaney looks to the outside. Hearn stays in the center of the racetrack. They get into 3. It's jamming up just a little bit. Blaney trying to close down the back end of the number 3 as they go between 3 and 4.
Hearn's car pushed up a little bit in between the corners. Here comes Blaney now. He'll try to make a run coming down off turn 4. Nose to tail down the front stretch. Heavy traffic ahead of the race leaders. Hearn tries to escape to the inside of the Marshall number 98 and ran out of room.
Bumper to bumper, first and second place as Blaney will look to the outside off the second turn. Now he looks low. Oh, the door gets shut as they come out of the second turn, and Hearn now runs the middle of the racetrack, taking it down into 3.
And I think maybe Blaney gave him a little tap coming off turn number 2 to let him know that he was knocking at the door. And now he doesn't want to knock at the door. He wants to barge through it as they come off turn number 4. There is serious traffic ahead of the race leaders as they come back onto the front chute to complete lap number 48 back into turn number 1. Hearn again cannot get by Marshall. Here comes Blaney trying to make a move on the outside.
And that traffic has allowed the third place Jamie Mills to cut down a half a straightaway advantage as he's trying to close in.
Oh, Blaney got loose off turn number 2, and now Hearn opens up about 3 or 4 car lengths, but going into turn number 3, Hearn still does not have enough room or momentum yet to get by Eddie Marshall. That's allowing Blaney to come back up on him as they swing off turn number 4 onto the front stretch. And you can see all the traffic ahead of the race leaders here. They are all pinned in behind the Bill Tanner 917, and I mean pinned in. This is a big pack of cars right ahead of the race leader. We're looking at about maybe 7th spot on back through the field.
Jamie Mills says, look where I am. I can see the leaders again. He's in 3rd, coming out of 2 and trying to close.
Mitch Gibbs slowing on the backstretch in the 2K has fallen way off the pace. Hearn, meanwhile, has decided to dive in with both feet. He puts the 98 of Marshall between himself. And look at this. Here comes out of nowhere. Mills has been closing in. Took a look to the inside of Blaney as they come down the front stretch. Halfway home.
Halfway home is Hearn. He's got himself a couple of lap cars between himself and second place Dave Blaney. But here comes Jamie Mills on the inside of Dave Blaney. It's wheel to wheel. Side by side, and Mills has the edge out of 2.
Oh, and Blaney almost into the wall on the outside of turn number 2. He knows that spot on the racetrack well because he's kissed the concrete there more than once. Didn't do it this time. In between turns 3 and 4, Jamie Mills now trying to chase the Marshall machine. Hearn, meanwhile, is buttoned in traffic here. You can see off turn number 4, everybody trying to get around the Bentley Mead machine here on the front stretch. Jimmy Horton in this pack, Ronnie Smoker in this pack, but Chrisman in danger of going a lap down right now. Chrisman running back on the 18th position.
Hearn setting a torrid pace, and the field getting lapped as one after another go down to the leader. Now Hearn goes 3 wide in the back straightaway. Chrisman, you can't do that here.
Oh, man, I tell you what, Brett Hearn is a man possessed right now. He's pulling moves that would not usually be advisable, shall we say. In traffic on the mile here at Syracuse, but he's getting the job done big time. We are 51 laps in, lap number 52 now about to go on the boards. Dave Blaney losing sight of Jamie Mills. Oh, we could have a little problem up here in turn 1. Mills rides up on the side of Roger Loreno and manages to drive away.
They made contact, but as you said, Mills kept it straight, and better news, Loreno kept it straight.
They head down the backstretch now. Mills falls off the pace a little bit. Got to rebuild some of that momentum that he lost with that maneuver up in turn number 1. Blaney going to the outside of Bentley Mead. Meanwhile, off turn number 4, Bill Tanner still holding this whole pack of cars at bay. Dave Camara looking for a way by him. Can't do it up on the outside lane as they tuck it back into turns 1 and 2. Hearn is working this traffic, trying to get to the inside of Cozy, and Cozy says, no pass for you.
There's a need for a yellow flag. Many guys who made that last pit stop are in trouble right now. They're in jeopardy of going down a lap. They could use a yellow.
Hearn going to put Frank Cozy down a lap now, going towards turn number 3. Mills is starting to reel him in here in traffic, and now Blaney catching back up to Mills.
Smoke off Tanner's car out of 4. A lot of smoke as Camara's trying to get underneath him.
Camara's been trying for several laps and just can't find the room to get by Tanner. Tanner is just holding this whole line of cars at bay. Jamie Mills now about 1.5 seconds back with only 2 cars between himself and the race leader. Blaney coming back up on him. Then for 4th spot, you got to go back to Jack Johnson, who is still about a full straightaway back behind all the hubbub that is happening up at the front of the field. And here comes Blaney to the outside of Mills. Blaney just retook the number 2 spot, and Mills takes it back.
Oh my goodness, what a battle for the number 2 spot as Mills and Blaney going wheel to wheel. Meanwhile, it looks like the body panels might be rolling over on the tire of the 917 as it looks like there's some bent sheet metal there that's getting into the tire.
And there are some frustrated drivers as well. Jeff Trombley now going to slip underneath Dave Camara. Camara drifted wide. Now he'll try to duck it back down on the inside of turn number 2. And Trombley going to go for broke, going to try to get around Tanner on the outside of the backstretch. They've got to open the door here because everybody's been running in line behind Tanner, and they're in danger of going down a lap to the lead pace if they don't get by.
Trombley back in the 10th position. But
Oh, trouble in turn number 3. Car drifted way to the outside of the speedway. Didn't catch the number on that, but somebody got way to the outside, almost got the wall. That car was Bob Lineman in the USA 1. Lineman almost got the fence, and we've got a car stopping up at the top of turn number 4. Yellow flags fly. I believe that is Chris Moore in the number 33 coming to a stop on the outside of the speedway.
Well, Jimmy Horton nearly in jeopardy of going down a lap, and the yellow will allow him to make up 9/10 of a mile to come around. A lot of smoke off the Tanner car down the front straightaway.
57 of 100 laps complete. A little confusion up here in turn number 1. Brett Hearn, I don't think saw the pace truck as he drove into turn number 1, then realized that he had passed it and slows it back down to fall back in line. The pace truck picking up the field. Chris Moore, flat right front tire on the number 33 machine. As he scoots up on the pit road, they're going to change that tire. Boy, that yellow flag was certainly a fortunate break for a lot of guys in this field.
A lot of guys were in jeopardy of going down. You can go back to guys like Trombley, Horton, Hetzler, Botcher, Camara, all were real close to going down the lap to leader Brett Hearn. That yellow, as I said, allowed them to make up about 9/10 of a mile. Talk of getting a break.
Looking over at Brett Hearn's pit, I don't see really much of any activity over there right now. Also looking, it looks like maybe a couple other cars maybe coming in for pit stops as soon as the pits open up. The pits are not open yet.
Okay.
If you look.
Let's run them down, Paul. We've got Brett Hearn leading the race. Second, 21 of Dave Blaney. Third, the 30 of Jamie Mills.
Fourth spot would be the 20 of Jack Johnson. Fifth looks like it's Billy Decker in the 91. Sixth is Von Doren's 114. Seventh is Urick in the 10. Right now contesting 8th and 9th are Trombley and Camara, and I believe Botcher would round out the top 10.
Scoring has Jeff Hoffman in 4th, but I think he went down in when he had a problem in the back straightaway, Paul. Also trying to straighten out Mitch Gibbs. I think Gibbs, he's back in the field.
Let's see what happens as far as any pit strategy goes. The pits will be open this time. Brett Hearn dropping down on the inside. Hearn may be coming in for a pit stop. Not quite sure. Again, I don't really see a lot of activity over in the Hearn pit area. But I think a couple of other drivers are going to drop down and possibly make pit stops. And one of them may be the Buckeye Bullet, Dave Blaney, in the number 21. So we'll see what happens when they come down off turn number 4.
Starter has the white flag in hand, so we'll have to see what happens here, Paul.
Well, the pits are open, and I think there's going to be another scramble on the pit road. Brett Hearn will not be part of it, but Dave Blaney will. Let's go to Keith Champagne in the pits.
Well, thanks, Bill. I was talking to some of the crew members on Dave Blaney's crew, as well as Brett Hearn. They really weren't sure. It looks like Blaney's going to come in. And now, as I remember, Blaney was sure. It was Brett Hearn that wasn't sure he was coming in. It obviously looks like he's not going to. And a lot of these crews are just debating, waiting to see what happens in the later stages of this race. There was a couple of crews that said they might come around lap 70, but it all depends on when those yellow flags fly. I think a lot of these crews want the yellows to come often here in the second half of this race so they can get in for a pit stop. As I look down the line, not a lot of the bigger names like Billy Decker are coming in. Dave Camara, they made their pit stops early, and it looks like they're going for the track position later in the race. Back to you guys.
Pulling off pit road, got a fresh right rear shoe. And Jamie Mills was also on the pits. Looked like a fuel-only stop for Mills.
They're a long way behind, Paul.
Yeah, we should be going back to green. What a run for Jamie Mills today. That car has been a rocket. Mills holding off Dave Blaney on a couple of occasions just by white-knuckling it around the lap traffic.
Well, that moves what? Jack Johnson in the number 2 position. Billy Decker now up in the number 3 spot, followed by Van Doren and Urich. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're doing it again. Working on lap number 60.
Back up into turns 1 and 2 goes your race leader, Hearn. Jack Johnson has got 4 cars between himself and Hearn and quite a bit of real estate on the racetrack. Mills and Blaney, well, it looks like they're going to tag team on their way back up through the field. They head down the backstretch and watching some of the battles for position here. Craig Van Doren closing in on Billy Decker. Urich and Trombley are right there along with Camara. Camara almost went down a lap under that last green flag session. He was only 3 or 4 cars away from being a lap down. That yellow flag was certainly a break for the Syracuse 200 winner from earlier this season.
Well, Billy Decker back to the number 3 spot. Got Mitch Gibbs between himself and second place Jack Johnson. Back in number 4 spot could be Ronnie Smoker. He's still running strong too, Paul.
Yeah, as a matter of, well, looking at the listing down here, Smoker is being shown right now in the number 11 position. Dave Blaney 12th, Jamie Mills 13th, Jeff Hoffman in the number 14 position unofficially.
Now Brett Hearn is clicking on all cylinders here as he's trying to pull away from the field as we're working on lap number 63.
The rest of the leaders making their way through, the rest of the pack heading up into turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Horton, Jeff Hetzler, Steve Botcher kind of all running in a tight pack as they come through the second corner. They have fallen some distance behind here, and Billy Decker with an outside move just got by Mitch Gibbs going up into turn number 3. So that puts him on the rear bumper of the second place running car of Jack Johnson.
So Hearn with a straightaway lead over Jack Johnson. Billy Decker now trying to roll in on the number 20. Back there, number 4 spot is Van Doren, followed by Urich and Trombley, Camara, Botcher, and Hetzler and Horton.
63 of 100 laps completed here in today's Miller Lite Labor Day 100. Brett Hearn holding the lead since lap number 31. Started this race last after his car refused to fire on the grid. Came up to 15th by lap 13. And then stayed on the racetrack when the majority of the leaders pitted on the second yellow of the race back on lap number 28. So Hearn has not made a pit stop yet, and you got to wonder, we're about 35 laps from the end here. Do you think possibly Hearn might gamble and roll the dice if a caution flag doesn't come out?
I think you have to. I don't think attrition's been that high, Paul. There's still a lot of race cars out there, and you've got to be you've got a long way to go in 30 miles if you pit now.
Hearn brings it back down off turn number 4. 65 in the books, 35 remain. Jack Johnson is a straightaway and change back in the second position. Billy Decker coming around Roger Loreno up towards turn number 1. Decker riding in third, doesn't want to get out of the groove, is able to tiptoe his way around the Loreno machine.
Meanwhile, Blaney and Jamie Mills are working their way up ever so slowly for the back of the field, but they got a late jump after that, getting caught in the pits on the white flag lap.
Back down the front stretch, leader Brett Hearn turning lap times in around the 32.2 second range as he heads back up towards turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, second place Jack Johnson turning his laps in about the 32.3, 32.4 range. So I don't think there's a lot of speed difference between the leader and second place right now. The problem is the track position. There's a lot of distance between them.
Again, the question is, and we said it when the race started, will guys try to go the distance? Will they roll the dice and gamble? It looks like right now Brett Hearn might be willing to roll those dice.
Well, it could be the gamble of the century so far.
In a century race, that makes sense. 100 laps, and right now he's got a quarter of a lap lead over runner-up Jack Johnson. Billy Decker, though, trying to move in on the 20, but not able to do so here as we're working on lap number 68. Whoa, hang on, out of 4, we have a car sideways. Unfortunately, it straightens itself out. It was the number 62 of Ron Smoker, who was almost hung out to dry coming out of the 4th turn.
Coming up on 30 laps to go, let's set the positions for you in the field. Brett Hearn is your race leader. Jack Johnson second, Billy Decker third, Craig Van Doren fourth, Rich Urich in fifth. 6th is Trombley in the 21J. 7th is Camara's 26. 8th is Botcher in the 35. 9th is the 30T of Jeff Hetzler. 10th is Horton. Blaney 11th. Smoker 12th. Mills 13th. Jeff Hoffman is 14th. 15th is Cozy. 16th is Eddie Marshall. Bucky Kell, the last car in the lead lap right now, in the number 17 position.
Well, just about 30 miles to go. It's just a normal race coming up. But again, Brett Hearn not making it anything but normal, as he is just running away and hiding from the field.
Hearn carrying it back up into turns 1 and 2, again with a monstrous lead over Jack Johnson, who's just coming across the line now. Billy Decker trying to run Jack down.
Trombley starting to move up. He's up in the 6th, trying to move in on the back of the bumper. Richie Urich, who's running in the top 5. So Trombley on the move, but there's a need for some yellows to help out some of these guys who are almost a half lap down.
Just checking in with Keith Champagne down on pit road, checking in with Brett Hearn's pit crew, and apparently, well, they're going to roll the dice and see if they can come up with the double sixes right now because of the way the track position has fallen for Hearn. He does not want to pit under any circumstances. At least that's the thinking right now.
And that's what we thought. But again, when you're down around 25 laps to go in a 100-miler, man, that's a tough time to stop if you're stopping by yourself.
72 of 100 laps complete as Hearn works his way back towards turns 1 and 2. Second spot still being occupied by Jack Johnson in the number 20. Billy Decker has kind of been nipping at that advantage between second and third for about the past 5 or 6 laps. The problem is now he's got pinned in behind Bucky Kell's number 2 GR, trying to find a way by him through turn number 2. Then you go back to Craig Von Dorn. You got to give a call out to Von Dorn all the way up to the number 4 position here this afternoon.
From 5th to 12th, they're all lined up in the second turn. Urich right back all the way to Blaney. They're all right there for position, and Smoker also there. So again, great battle in the field. However, the top 3 have pretty well kissed the field goodbye as they're trying to just run away and hide.
And it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other right now, Bill, because I'm sure these guys a little bit further back on the field from 7th through about 12th would love to get a yellow flag to catch up to the leader. But if Hearn is trying to run a non-stop race, a yellow flag is only going to benefit him as well because it'll ease the fuel consumption.
That's right. That's right. There's not been a lot of yellow flag periods in this race today, Paul. I mean, there's only been about maybe 3 laps under yellow, 3 or 4. Not many
Absolutely.
More than that.
Only 3 caution flags over the distance so far. When Hearn comes by next time, we'll have 25 miles left to complete here in this Miller Lite Labor Day 100 here at the New York State Fairgrounds. We're going to focus our attention on the battles for position coming off turn number 4. We're looking from Rich Urich, who is in 5th, back through the line. Urich right now trying to put a lap on the Gibbs machine.
Great racing here back in the field. As I'll tell you, everyone's looking for that opportunity to pick up a spot. And I'll tell you, anything from 5th to 12th could change dramatically in the next 25 miles.
Dave Blaney has put some seriously heavy pressure on Jimmy Horton in the number 74 as they work up towards turn number 3. Blaney pokes a wheel down towards the inside. Not able to get the room, though, as they work their way through turn number 3. Meanwhile, Urich's still trying to get around Gibbs, and now he cranks it sideways off turn 4, and that allows Jeff Trombley to move up. That's a battle for position as Trombley tries to go to the inside in 1. Not going to get it done.
Urich in 10, running in 5th, and the 21J of Trombley in 6th, followed by Camara and Botcher as they're all right there. Hetzler, Horton, Blaney, and Smoker all right in a row down the back straightaway.
They head towards turn number 3 with that big pack of cars. Smoker poked a wheel on the inside of Blaney as they work their way through the 3rd turn. Now coming down through turn number 4 again. Urich's car pushing a little bit this time. He is tucked in behind the number 10 the number 10 is tucked in behind Mitch Gibbs. And Trombley is trying to find a way up there to perhaps do the old pick and roll maneuver, pin Urich in behind the slower car and pick up a spot.
Quarter lap lead for Brett Hearn over Jack Johnson as we're working on lap number 78 this time around.
One car slow on the backstretch. That would be the 30T. I believe that is the Jeff Hetzler car, the backup Jamie Mills machine. He's off the pace, headed towards turn number 3. I don't know if he's got enough speed to clear around through turn number 4 or not. We'll keep our eyes on him, and he is really slow down through turn number 4, but I believe, yes, he is. No, he has not made it on the cinder track. He's down tight to the inside of the racetrack, and I don't think Hetzler is going to make it. Something wrong in the back end, and that's going to bring out the yellow here on lap number 78.
Yellow flag coming out on lap number 78. Just 22 more miles to go. And it appears Brett Hearn wants to go the distance. too light.
Jack, congratulations. It is a hat trick for you, third win of the season.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to dedicate this race to Mike McLaughlin's dad, Tom. He passed away, and my sympathy goes out to Mike and his family.
Looked like the car was working pretty well for you all day long.
Yeah, we were working real well. You know, we're real concerned about tire wear and fuel mileage, and Brian kept telling me on the radio, save the tires, save the gas, and you know, at times I was running behind Brett and Dave Blaney there and just running half throttle trying to save the gas, and hey, it paid off.
It was smooth pit work too when you made your pit stop.
Yeah, I got a heck of a pit crew here. These guys do a heck of a job for me. They work real hard at it, and so we won us the race today. We got in and out of the pits real quick and stayed 100 ahead of that 91 car to help.
Yeah, and that looked like it was tough to do there at the end. Billy was all over the back end. You just couldn't find a way by.
Well, Billy's got this place down pat. You know, he runs real well here every time he comes here. And every time you come here, you know he's going to be a contender, and you got to race hard to stay ahead of him.
Well, congratulations on the third win of the season. Definitely going to help you in the quest for that USNA point championship and that $100,000 payday.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner of the 51st Miller Lite Labor Day 100 is Jumpin' Jack Johnson. Billy, you tried like heck there at the end to get by Jack and just couldn't find a way by, but it looked like the car was good today.
Yeah, this New England Financial car is pretty good. You know, I can't thank this crew enough, and Randy Ross, car owner. These guys do a great job. It was a conserve race for us. Jumpin' beat us out of the pits there, and so we just wanted to keep him in sight, and he was trying to conserve, which worked out well for us. We were trying to conserve. I didn't think the tires would hold up as well as they did, but these McCurry's did a great job, and we were just trying to do time. You know, Brett was out there going to go the distance. I didn't think he could make it on fuel, but after sticking our car here, after we went across the scales, we'd have probably had enough fuel to do it. We might have been in the same situation Brett's in, you know. So yeah, it's a tough call. Jumpin' was going good, you know. Every time I tried to put the heat on him, he always had a little something left in the bag. That old guy just don't give up.
Well, congratulations on the runner-up finish today, and again, that helps you in your chase for the points too.
Yeah, sure does. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Decker, second place finisher. Craig Von Doren picks up the third spot in the number 114. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Craig. Is this your best finish in the big block here at Syracuse?
Yeah, I think we got fourth or fifth a couple years back with another car, so this is our best deal.
Now, it looked like your car was going along pretty well today, too.
We were good. You know, we weren't as good as the top three, but we were a little worried about tires, and so we just figured we'd ride here a little bit and, you know, wait for cautions and race them on the cautions, but we didn't really get them, so just rode it out and made it to the finish.
Yeah, it looked like you spent maybe more time in traffic today than anybody else.
Well, hey, I can't time trial, so that's what happens. That's the price you got to pay when you can't time trial. You got to run lap traffic.
Yeah, but you wind up with a third place at the end of the day, and that's not bad for a day's work at all.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I just got to thank everybody for giving me a good car. You know, the TO car was great, and the Beavers, you know, they give us everything we need, and, you know, the crew did a good job, and, hey, it's just a good day for us.
Well, congratulations on a third place run today.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Von Doren in the Stauffer Construction 114 picks off the third position in today's Miller Lite Labor Day 100.
Ready, come on, let's go!